What is going on, Draw2 crew? Ramny here with a brand new DoodleChat video, and in this video series I doodle and I chat. And essentially today I'm going to be talking about Deadpool, non-spoilery. So this is my Deadpool review / reaction to the movie that I saw about 2 days ago. So let's get started. So you guys, in my cable tutorial video, I showed you this drawing that I did when I was a lot younger. And this is essentially just me using the grid method to copy Greg Capullo's artwork. And I printed that out. This is Greg Capullo's art. This is what that looks like. So what I'm doing in this video is I'm taking this drawing that I did from this and I'm inking it, or I already did anyway. So this is it right here. So let's go ahead and get started with that. And keep in mind, before we actually start, this is a spoiler-free video. So please keep the comment section spoiler-free as well. If you guys watched Deadpool 2 and you loved it, let me know in the comments below, but try to keep the spoilers away from the comment section for now. Thank you. Hey, real quick, you guys, I'm just editing this video as we speak, and there's two things that I kind of forgot to say. Number one, this inking that I did for cable took 3 hours, so there's no way for me to even make a tutorial of this drawing, so don't expect it. If it takes 3 hours to ink, it's going to take longer for me to teach you how to draw it. So yeah, don't expect that. But number two, I'd like to give this to you guys as a freebie coloring page. So if you guys stay tuned to this video, watch this video, and somewhere along the line I'm going to send you a link to a place where you can download the coloring page for this cable inking drawing that I did thing here. So make sure you pay attention and yeah, watch out for that link. All right, so Deadpool 2 is the sequel for Deadpool, and everybody already knows who Deadpool is. Essentially, Wade Wilson. He's a mutant whose superpowers were sort of brought about, and his superpowers are essentially like super fast healing, near indestructible. He's got like speed, strength, agility, that kind of stuff. And yeah, along with the fact that this guy can kick butt like nobody's business, and you have yourself an assassin who likes to talk too much. So who doesn't know about Deadpool, right? So here in this movie, we get introduced to Cable, to Domino, and to a whole bunch of other characters like that. So that's essentially the gist of this movie. I'm gonna tell you guys what I like about it, what I don't like about it, and my final verdict. So that's how this is going to go. Okay, so things that I like, I made a list right here. The plot is very good. So I feel like the plot was pretty coherent from beginning to the end. There's a clear story arc for Deadpool. He gets into a better spot at the end of the movie than he does at the beginning, but it had to take, yeah, some drastic stuff happens to Deadpool. So yeah, it's actually really crazy the amount of stuff that happens to Deadpool. And you know how his superpower is healing. Here in this movie, you get to see him do all sorts of different things, like creative fighting styles with his superpower. And I'm gonna leave it at that because that's actually a really nice surprise for you guys to see, is seeing him fight in such a creative way with a superpower. So I like the plot. The comedy is, I think, just as good as the first. Now the first was a surprise breakout hit, and I had no idea, nobody had any idea how much of a hilarious like turn this movie was gonna take. I mean, it went dark, it got pretty dark, like this movie got pretty dark as well, but at the same time it's also highlighted by the comedy. So between action and comedy, I think the first movie was more comedy than action, but this time around it is more action than it is comedy. So there's that. It's still funny, it's hilarious, and I was busting my gut just laughing so hard, because there were some times where I was just like, you know, I try to keep quiet in the movie theater, but then when something happens on screen, you just audibly laugh, you know? So it's filled with tons of those moments. The characters are awesome. So they introduced a couple new characters, mainly Cable, mainly Domino. Those characters are pretty good. And you get to see some characters from the previous movie, like Dopinder, Colossus, Negasonic Teenage Warhead. You see, what's his name? TJ Miller's character, I forgot what his name was. You see him as well in this. So yes, they're all here, and I think they're pretty good. The way, like, Domino, her superpowers come out. When you see it, it's actually really cool, and it's like a domino effect, essentially, just like her name. That's pretty cool. And then Cable, the effects are awesome. I think they simplified his origin from the comics, because in the comics it's super convoluted. Here they made it clear cut, they made it simple, and I think it works. He's like the straight man character compared to Deadpool's like craziness, which I think is a really good contrast. I think they mold well together, Cable and Deadpool, as they should, because that's how it is in the comics. Yeah, so you get to see more of Colossus. That's awesome. And there are some characters you don't really get to see much of, but we'll get to that in a sec. Breaking the fourth wall. There's so much of those that, like, sometimes if you tune out for a little bit, you're gonna miss a joke. There's a lot of fourth wall breaks in this one, where like Wade Wilson stares at the camera, and I think the most memorable one, and I think it's the one that people are talking about, is the post-credit scene or the mid-credit scene. Definitely stay for that, because that is the best. That I think is the best mid-credit scene of any Marvel like MCU movie or any other type of movie. This mid-credit scene in Deadpool 2 was just the icing on the cake. It's so funny. It's hilarious. It digs at every superhero franchise. I mean, you saw it in the trailers. There's references to Thanos. There's references to DC Universe. You know, like there's tons of other stuff that you don't expect. There's tons of cameos in this. People that you're very surprised even appears in this movie. I didn't expect to see a few of them, and one of them was definitely a character that appeared in the MCU already. Oh, I'm sorry, MCU. That appeared in X-Men movies already, but they fixed him up for this. So it's like a character that we've seen already in the X-Men movies, but much like they did with Deadpool, you know how Deadpool was such a bad character, they fixed him up for this movie, that new breakout character, which I thought was pretty awesome. You'll know what I mean, and please don't spoil it in the comments below if you guys know who I'm talking about. But yeah, definitely one character that they did justice this time around. So that's awesome. The directing is awesome too. Like this was directed by the guy who directed John Wick. So you see a lot of the elements of John Wick in Deadpool. So yeah, like not a lot of jump cuts and all that stuff. You see a lot of like choreographed, like nicely choreographed fight scenes, very creatively choreographed fight scenes. So that is always a plus. So those, and did I mention that this movie has heart? At the bottom of this movie is the main plot, the main thing that drives the story along is the heart. It's the relationship that Wade Wilson has with Vanessa. So that is the driving force in this movie, and you get to see that, and that's what I like about it. It's wacky, it's hilarious, it's gory, lots of killing and all that stuff, but at the bottom of it, it's a movie about family, and I'll just leave it at that. Okay, now the things that I dislike, there's not a lot of things that I dislike, but there is one that I wasn't a big fan of that happened in the movie that I would say, if you're a fan of the 90s comics and a fan of all of these characters, you might be disappointed. You know what I mean? So I'll just leave it at that. You guys will probably know what I'm talking about. So if you guys are a fan of X-Force, if you're a fan of the characters that Rob Liefeld created back in the heyday of X-Men, if you see this happen in the plot, you might be a little bit disappointed. But once you get over the shock of it, it's actually a pretty hilarious scene. So yeah, take that as it may. Take that as you will. Okay. There's not enough screen time, just like all of those big superhero team-up movies. There's a lot of characters introduced in this, and like I said earlier, you don't see enough of Negasonic Teenage Warhead or like that girl with the whips. I don't even know her name because that's how much screen time she had. It wasn't enough. I forgot her name. So you don't get to see that much of her too, and all the X-Force characters you don't get to see that much as well. So I'm a little bit disappointed in that. I would have loved to see that. But that's how it is. It's a movie about Deadpool, so it's mainly Deadpool stuff, right? So that's pretty much all that I dislike about it. Now let's verdict, okay? This movie is good. Is it better than the first? I would say it's very close, but I think the first one, because it caught me by surprise and I was so I came out of there laughing. I came out of there just pleased with the way that this movie dissected the whole comic book genre. I feel like I would say I would put Deadpool, the first one, up there, and then Deadpool 2 a very close second. So yeah, that's just how it is. But that's not to say that I dislike this movie. I actually really like this movie too. It's bigger. You can tell that there's a lot more money. There's a bigger budget thrown into this movie, a lot more action in the pieces, a lot bigger sets. Is it funnier? Kind of. It's all subjective, right? So it's completely up to you. To me, I'd say it's about equal. It's equal, because I think I was laughing the whole time throughout the first movie and this movie. But I feel like with this movie, it has a disadvantage of us already knowing what to expect from a Deadpool movie. So I would say that Deadpool 1 would be the better one for me because it caught me by surprise. This one, we knew what it was going to be going in. So that is my verdict, you guys. And I think that is it for this video. All right, so for those of you guys who have been paying attention, here it is, the download link for the cable coloring page that I did. So if you guys want a copy of this thing that I inked, head on over to the website is bit.ly. I'm going to put it here, bit.ly/DIT, like draw it to, DIT cable. Okay, again, bit.ly/DIT cable. So if you head over to that link, you guys will, it'll take you to this hidden page on my website where you can download the coloring page for cable. So enjoy. Well, I didn't mean to talk as much as I did. Once I got started, I realized that I actually do have a lot to say about this movie. I was honestly going to try to keep this video short for you guys, but that's it. Thank you so much for watching. If you guys like to see more doodle chats, definitely let me know what I should chat about and what I should doodle down in the description below. Let me know what you think of Deadpool 2. Remember, no spoilers in the description as well. And that's it, you guys. Thank you so much for watching. Uh-oh, the sun went down, so the lighting might be a little bit different. Thank you so much for watching this video. Definitely see me on Facebook, on Instagram, on Google+, and on my website, draw2.com, where you can download a whole bunch of coloring pages. Don't forget, I have a Deadpool tutorial playlist down on my channel, so be sure to check that out. So anyway, that's it, you guys. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you guys enjoyed my drawing, this one right here. I hope you guys enjoyed it, and I will catch you guys in the next one. Take care.